What's up, class? It's me, Mr. Harris. Today we're going to learn about valence electrons. So, at the top of your notes, write this down. Valence electrons. Then put the date. Moving on. This is our objective, 2.5. Students will be able to calculate the number of valence electrons in an atom. You don't have to write down objective 2.5, just write down the actual objective, or just write calculate the number of valence electrons in an atom. Moving on. And so valence electrons, those are the electrons in the last or highest outermost energy level of an atom. So you have the atom, you have the nucleus, and then you have these electrons all around it. Some of the electrons hang out a lot closer to the nucleus. Those are like your 1s's, your 2s's, and then there are the other ones that are on the outside of the nucleus. Depending on how many on how many electrons the nucleus has, there are going to be some electrons that are much further away from the nucleus. Like a really large atom will have valence electrons that are very far from the nucleus. All right. Valence electrons are important because these are the electrons that interact with other atoms. So atoms stick to one another. Hydrogen atoms stick to hydrogen atoms stick to all kinds of atoms, to carbon atoms stick to oxygen, and those are what things are actually made of. Atoms stuck together. So the valence electrons are kind of like little hooks on the outside of the atom that hook on to other atoms' electrons. This is how atoms stick together, through valence electrons. So this slide you should copy down. Moving on. So now we're going to try to figure out the number of valence electrons. The first way, and actually the only way we're going to learn today, is you write down the electron configuration. Then you find the highest energy level. You add the superscripts for the highest energy level. All right, so here's an example. So what we have here is an electron configuration. 1s2, 2s2, 2p2. So now the 1s2, that means that there are two electrons very close to the nucleus. Then outside that, a little further from the nucleus, you have the 2s2 and the 2p2. All right? That's it. That's all the electrons in this atom. So there are 6 electrons in this atom. 2 are really close to the nucleus, and then 4 of them are on the outside of the nucleus. All right? So what you do is you add all of the electrons in the second energy level. So in this case, it's 4 valence electrons. The second energy level is both 2's. I know it looks like you have 1, 2, and 3, but actually it's just the second energy level is 2. All right. So now we've got some practice. You find the number of valence electrons for each of the following atoms. This is going to take you a while, I think. In this case, what you should do is write down the energy level. The electron configuration. Find out what the last energy level is, and then add all of the electrons in the final energy level, and that will give you the number of valence electrons. So do that for all of these on this page. And then when you're done with this page, you can stop and get my attention or Miss Duran's attention. More practice. All right.